Welcome to Two Poor Artists, where we're poor at drawing anything for Christmas other than Star Wars Christmas specials. But mostly, we're poor at making art. I'm Isaac.
And my name is Benj. And today, we have decided, because in a comment, we became aware that there is a Lego Star Wars holiday special.
Yes, thankfully, we have been told by a dear fan of the channel about this. I don't want to say sequel to the holiday special. It has nothing to do.
I'm certain they were human that left a comment, not a deer.
A deer fan. I mean, some deers are real good at hiding their antlers, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's possible. We should ask.
But here's the thing: he has a human profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were a deer, you've read the YouTube guidelines. It very clearly says no deers.
Right.
You can be an armadillo.
Mm-hmm.
You can be an aardvark.
Yep.
But you can't be a deer.
Reindeer.
Reindeer is because they know Santa's gonna have people who tune into his channel.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a little around the holidays, it's fine, but
right.
Not in general. The point of this conversation, I think it's good to get to a point every once in a while, is that there is a second Star Wars holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
See, last week we reviewed, if you could call that a review, we drew the Star Wars holiday special from 1978.
Mm-hmm.
The original one that no one speaks of. The one that George Lucas used to buy bootleg copies of just so he could destroy them and get them out of the world.
Mm-hmm.
The one that hopefully we didn't inspire you to watch because we told you just how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
We watched that last week. We drew that last week. This week we have just finished for the first time watching the Star Wars Lego holiday special. That's right.
Yep.
There's an extra word.
Mm-hmm. Or is it Lego Star Wars holiday special?
I think Star Wars is bigger than Lego.
Okay.
So I think they lead with Lego.
Yeah.
Or lead with Star Wars, I mean.
And this one was made by Disney in more recent years.
Yeah. They aren't quite as ashamed of this one.
Yeah. Because Disney has no shame.
Yeah.
I think this was worse.
I don't think it was worse. And I'd also like to correct my earlier statement. It is the Lego Star Wars holiday special because, as everybody knows, Lego is bigger than Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's what we now all know.
We read some statistic the other day that just during the Christmas season, there's somewhere between 70 and 80 million Lego sets sold.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
The statistic we actually saw was 58 Lego sets a second.
I think it was 28, but either way, it's an absurd number per second if it's broken down. It means there is a Walmart somewhere where they are constantly somewhere in the world. There's constantly a Lego set being scanned and put into a plastic bag or a reusable bag if you're that kind of hippie.
At no point.
Yeah, it's a big deal, Lego, and it's a big deal, Star Wars. So it's no wonder that you take Christmas time, you take Lego, take Star Wars, you mash them together in 1978, and it fails spectacularly. And then for the next 5 decades or so, they debate why did it fail so bad? It should have been the biggest thing ever,
Right?
Should have been bigger than the movies.
Probably because they didn't do Christmas; they did some non-existent.
And I think the main problem was they didn't do Lego. Because Lego, as we all know, covers a multitude of.
We just watched what happens when you add Lego.
But I didn't. I mean, it was not. You can't say that what we just watched was as bad.
It was.
Did you feel it wasn't good? But did you feel that sense of uncomfortable dread you did in every scene of the first one?
Not in the same way.
Did the Lego one have Grandpa watching inappropriate music videos?
No.
Did it have weird cooking segments? Did it have that sputtery, jittery robot that we didn't even mention in last week's video, giving instructions on how to rewire a 10,000 wire communicator device? No,
it didn't have any of that.
It didn't.
But it just they systematically went through every Star Wars scene and made it dumb.
This was not made by a Star Wars it was both made by a Star Wars fan and someone who really doesn't like Star Wars.
This entire movie was like designed to be a like nostalgia trip for people that watch Star Wars,
but also a nostalgia trip for people who have been forced to watch Star Wars and didn't like
they
it.
Like ruined every like it was like they went through and it's like, oh, you like this scene? Well, how about if it was dumb?
It was like,
it's like, oh, you like this character? Well, how about if they were dumb?
It was like a weird parody almost, making fun of Star Wars.
But it was like every character was just like a dumb version of the character.
Well,
like it was because like the actual Star Wars holiday special, the characters were actually played by the real actors, and they
much to their
kind of acted like
immortal dread.
To some degree,
eternal dread that they all have of having starred in
but like this was like, it was like clearly they weren't voiced by the actual voice actors.
A couple of them were,
to their dread. I was
like,
and like they were just like, what if it was the character, but they were the stupidest version?
But I mean, that is Lego to a degree. Lego movies are just, what if all the characters were really dumb, but they had a big heart?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's Lego Batman. That Lego Batman is the dumbest version of Batman. You like it though, because it's hilarious, and he has a big heart.
And that works for a couple reasons. One, he's not as dumb as these Star Wars characters were. Like, he was still good at the things he was supposed to be good at. He just acted dumb while doing them.
I'm just saying, the characters in the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, they were good at lightsaber fighting. They were good at, saving the day. They were good at making something that vaguely resembled a Christmas tree, but we were being told it wasn't Christmas. It was still Life Day in the movie.
Mm-hmm. It was Life Day. But, like, clearly, Life Day was Christmas. Like, that's the other thing with the actual the actual holiday special, which was annoying, was like they never explained what Life Day was, and it was like weird culty. Like,
there were no red robes. There were Christmas sweaters.
In this it was like, it's Christmas.
Yeah,
it's we're not calling it Christmas, but they have a tree. They eat turkey. They decorate with Christmas lights. Yeah. They wear Christmas sweaters.
They even sang a Christmas song in the language of Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, imagine Jabba the Hutt singing a Christmas song. That's basically what you're treated to in this.
Except it's the two worst characters in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely handpicked the worst. The thing is, this whole thing was made to make fun of Star Wars. Mostly episode 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
But it was funny.
Like Rey was the main character.
Like, we had some legitimate laughs today, though. Like, we did not have a single legitimate laugh during the original holiday special.
I don't know. I feel like it was...
There were uncomfortable
laughing.
sighs and, like, the sound of air escaping the mouth in horror. That has a sound. Just watch the holiday special.
I feel like it was the same with this. And also, I don't think I laughed.
You definitely laughed at a couple of scenes.
I think you laughed.
I think you laughed along with me. There were some clever parts. I mean, I'm not going to walk you through the whole Star Wars holiday Lego special. I'll walk you through some parts of it, though. As Ben draws a character from Warhammer.
Yeah.
Or a medieval knight.
I'm not. I'm not a Star Wars fan.
It's like a weird Iron Man.
Just in case people thought that I was a Star Wars fan.
Oh, now it's a bowling pin.
I'm not a Star Wars fan.
Benj isn't a Star Wars fan. It's one of his greater flaws.
Like, Star Wars.
Is that? Is this Darth Vader? No.
Like, Star Wars was definitely better before Disney got involved.
It's Vader the Doughboy.
But
it's so gross.
It wasn't good before.
Star Wars is good. The problem with Star Wars is that it was so good that anytime something comes out and it's less good, people make a really big deal about it.
No.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel about it. I've liked the majority of things Star Wars, but I will openly admit some things are just worse and shouldn't have been released until they were ready.
Like, Star Wars Episode 1 and 2 were pretty good.
I really see, like, we're both in agreement on this, that Star Wars Episode 1 is the best Star Wars that there ever was.
Yes.
And that might be... I just dropped my water bottle, and it's like a big, heavy metal water bottle, and it spilled all over me, and then landed upright on the floor. It felt intentional. Like, somewhere out there's like the force that hates people who like the prequels. So it's just like a force push. Like, don't like episode 1, have to like episode 4, and it's 1970s special effects.
Yeah.
They were really good in 1977. They were the best special. It's like, yeah, I get it.
The thing is,
episode 1's the best, though.
Episode 4, like all the like 4, 5, and 6, like, they're good if you like already know the lore of Star Wars, or if you didn't know what good effects was.
That's the thing.
They were good effects back then.
That's what I learned last week watching the holiday special from 78 is that the special effects in the holiday special were they were terrible. Right. But that's what you expected from 1970s special effects. Like, you expected them to be cheesy and terrible.
A lightsaber in the holiday special, was there?
There was not.
And I think that's because they didn't know how to
do
the effects of a lightsaber.
It had like a budget of $6.50. And
all of that went to hiring
like Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford for like one scene. You know how much they probably had to pay Carrie Fisher to be like, you're going to sing a song with a bunch of people in robes. Okay. Yeah, no, that's half the budget. Where was I going with all this? The point is, episode 1's the best. 4, 5, and 6. I do like 4, 5, and 6.
Well, yeah. I had a point. That's why. You weren't the one making a point.
Someone was making a point.
I was making a point.
I got water spilled all over me. It's cold.
Yeah. The point is, like Star Wars Episode 4 or 5 or whichever one. Like they all mashed together.
If you're gonna make a point, you have to know what point you're making.
When Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight.
Can you finish those eyes while you're talking? They're just looking at me out of the pale whiteness.
That's the point. When Obi-Wan and Darth Vader were fighting, everyone's like, people talk about how like slow it was and lame compared to like Darth Maul's fight or whatever. But like if you actually know like the lore, it's kind of better because that was two masters of the Force fighting, so they were like predicting the future and like having a mind battle the whole time.
Yeah, but nobody wants to watch something
that's
that you
boring
can't see
to watch. Yeah,
that's the thing. Episode 4, 5, and 6. I remember my dad showing me these growing up, and they were good. They were fun. It's a really fun world. George Lucas did a great job of creating. Oh, you've made the eyes worse somehow. But anyway, he made a great world. A decent story. He does make two siblings kiss, and you have to wonder why that was a thing.
Yeah, you do have to wonder.
You wonder a lot of things about those movies, but
like George Lucas, you kind of have to wonder about him.
Yeah, like it was the 70s, man. People were weird, It got to the 90s, and everyone kind of normaled out.
But I mean, he didn't do the Christmas special.
No, like I said, I appreciated 4, 5, and 6 more having seen the Christmas special. And understanding that's what people like. That was the standard of special effects at the time. 4, 5, and 6 are masterpieces in that they were years ahead of what they should have been for special effects and storytelling. They were really, really cool. And we talked about this last week, but you know this because there's like knockoffs of Star Wars that came out in like the 80s.
Go watch any sci-fi from the 80s.
Star Crash. Go watch. Don't even watch Star Crash. Watch the Mystery Science 3000 episode of Star Crash, and you will just see how years after the first Star Wars, how bad things still were if you weren't George Lucas, George Lucas deserves all the credit for Star Wars because, like, even though he's a perfectionist and kind of weird.
Well, watch the holiday special where he wasn't
involved, right? And then you see episodes 7, 8, and 9, and he wasn't involved, and you're like, see, like he knew what he was doing. Just pause the discussion for a second. You don't know, what is that? It's a watermelon head. It's a watermelon head. Like, I got that the guy on the left was supposed to be Darth Vader after contemplating that it must be this thing, which is easily top 3 creepiest things you've ever drawn. And it's getting worse. It's like a squid tentacle for a hand. What is it? Like he's looking over his shoulder at us. Is that Emperor Palpatine? It is. It's noseless Emperor. You didn't even do a nose. You have invented and pioneered nose first style in this world, and you didn't even give this thing a nose.
Evil emperors don't have noses. Zurg.
Does Zurg not have a nose? Like, I wanted to say no, he does, but I don't even know if that's true. Also, you've run out of evil emperors. That's it. There are 2.
Voldemort?
He's not an emperor.
He could have been.
Like, if he'd won and then become emperor? Okay, evil Emperor Zurg. Does he have a nose? The thing is, I didn't think. I'm going to be getting like a Google survey later that's like, did you search for evil Emperor Zurg nose? Question mark. And it's going to be like, yes, I did, and I'm not proud. Okay, so here, let's put a picture of evil Emperor Zurg up on the screen. There it is. He has like his mask is like tapered in a way that makes you believe there's a nose.
Right, it makes you believe there's
also,
a nose.
I've never thought about evil Emperor Zurg, but I'm guessing since he's just Darth Vader, that he's wearing a mask, and that's not actually what Zurg looks like. Right?
Yeah. I mean, but the only time you see him without the mask is in that like Lightyear movie.
Yeah, but we don't.
Which is definitely not.
Like, even Disney's trying to forget that happened.
Like, it can't be canon.
No. So, like, evil Emperor Zurg's mask does kind of. It has more of a nose than it should. Goes into the teeth section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
But
this guy is so much worse. So much worse. Goodness. I don't even know what we were talking about. I know it was the holiday special. I know it was...
But so
we were talking about George Lucas. Good job, George Lucas. Bad Disney. But although Disney is getting better-ish. See, here's the thing that I think people don't really understand. When George... Like, the last thing George Lucas did for Star Wars wasn't episode 1, 2, and 3. The last thing George Lucas did for Star Wars was the animated series, The Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. He wanted to make a show that was unlike any other animated show. He wanted to make like a serious cartoon, which, you know, there's not a whole lot of serious cartoons. They're usually very much like kids shows with, you know, they're geared towards kids. Clone Wars, even though I think kids enjoy it, is really just geared towards adults, and like it has the same feel in a lot of ways as the rest of Star Wars. I honestly think the animated Star Wars shows are better than the movies in a lot of ways. But the point is...
My favorite Lego thing is definitely that, like...
Lego thing or Star Wars thing?
Star Wars thing is that, that like cartoon, the Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Like Samurai Jack
style.
Oh,
yeah, no, that was fantastic.
That was...
Yeah,
that's
the original
Jedi's
Clone
at their
Wars.
Finest.
Yeah, the original... animated show that was in like it had like little 5-minute segments that were on that was made by I forget, I don't even know how to say his name. Gendy Tartakovsky. He's the guy who made like Samurai Jack and a lot of other awesome shows. Like his animation style is really unique. Like there was very little talking in the show. It was a lot of like just really cool like scenes of fighting. Like that show had like really awesome scenes, like Mace Windu taking on like thousands of droids by himself and winning.
And it was like tied in because it came out between episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And it apparently was canon at the time. Like I don't know if that's considered true or anything.
I mean, like it introduced
explained General Grievous.
Yeah, it introduced him.
How he was like hurt and why he breathed weird and stuff. Like it was like everything that happened in the in the cartoon seemed to have happened actually in between.
So George Lucas made that show, and then he said, you know what, I want to make this like a full blown show with like multiple seasons to tell you the whole story of the Clone Wars, because like there's a tiny little bit of them in the movies, but the movies are mostly about Anakin and Obi-Wan and like their story, not about the war so much. So the show that he makes, he has to get somebody to help make the show with him, because he's not like an animator. He's a director, he's a writer, live action. So he hires a man named Dave Filoni. And Dave Filoni is just the greatest animator guy ever. He worked on my favorite show ever, Avatar: The Last Airbender. So George Lucas hires this guy, and in so many ways, basically hands Star Wars over to him. Like, and if you've ever like seen Dave Filoni talk, he's odd in like some of the same ways George Lucas is. He's like a perfectionist in certain ways. He's quirky in his own like subdued kind of way. But anyway, George Lucas basically is like, here, I want you to help me make this show. And by the end of this show, Dave Filoni is like the one running it. So Dave Filoni is really the guy that George Lucas is like, this is the guy I see taking Star Wars into the next generation.
Right.
Then they go, and by they I mean Disney, make episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
And Dave Filoni's like not really involved.
Disney pretty much ruins.
Yeah, they did. They tried to rush into it too much. Episode 7 had a lot of hope, despite not being named A New Hope. But then I feel like they rushed episode 8, and they definitely had to try to piece it back together with episode 9. Since then, Dave Filoni has kind of come back on board. Like, I think people acknowledged that he actually knew what he was doing. He finished up the Clone Wars show. He did one final season of it. He worked on Mandalorian along with another guy whose name is Jon Favreau. Anyway, I think there's a lot of good people like working on stuff for Star Wars despite Disney's best efforts. It's more inconsistent than it used to be.
Yeah.
That was kind of my main point.
I mean, not that it was super consistent. It's like,
but like, the original movies were all pretty consistent. Was good. Whether you like the storyline or not, or it was too rushed. Like, I think episode 3 was really rushed.
Yeah, episode 3 shouldn't have been as bad as it was.
See, this is the thing. Episode 3 for so many people is like held as like the best Star Wars episode. People like debate, was it 3 or was it 5? I really don't like 3.
Yeah, my problem with 3 is like is
that just out the windows?
Stars.
Just the super generic stars out the window.
Yeah.
Imagine if that's what you saw in Star Wars. Like, they do like these amazing, like tons and tons of little stars. Imagine if it was just like 6 different stars, like snowflakes.
Yeah, and the space is white and the stars are black.
That would be so weird.
Yeah, but like the problem with episode 3 is like you basically go from Anakin being like a troubled young adult to murdering children, like in like an hour.
Not even. It's like in 40 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just
he goes from the hero to like the super villain.
Right?
Why is he doing this?
Yeah, and it's like, and you understand, it's like, oh, okay, he's being deceived by the Emperor and all that stuff, and it's like that's fine, but it's so rushed. Like they needed like another trilogy. Yeah. In between 3 and 4, and then also just like where 3 ends up, like doesn't get you to 4 very easily.
I don't normally say that the movies need to be like longer. Like sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, I was 3 hours and it was an hour too long.
Yeah.
Episode 3 should have been like 5 hours.
Right.
Like the first 2.5, 3 hours of it is just Anakin slowly becoming bad. Not like, oh, they didn't make me a master and they don't trust me, so I'm going to go murder every one of the Jedi. And like all the kids. You're like, what is this? It's terrible.
Like there's steps.
Yeah. And I understand, like, that's the problem with making prequels, especially when you have to have like the villain, like you have to create the villain in one movie. Right. Episode 2 was like, you still felt bad for him. There was still so much hope for him, Yeah. And episode 3 is like, we really need to get rid of all that hope that he's going to be good. And they don't do it until like an hour in, and they do it suddenly.
Yeah. And some people blame episode 2 and 1 for this problem.
Yeah.
Which I understand. Like that's kind of how it is with like episode 9. You know, like episode 9 really was hurt by the fact that episode 7 and 8 were opposite storylines and didn't match up together at all.
I can't even talk about episode 8. I think episode 8 was just terribly written.
Episode 7 was okay. And then episode 8 came out and was like, nothing that you thought was happened.
Episode 8 to me, I don't want to talk a lot about episode 8. Episode 8 to me feels like someone wrote it as just like a big like slap in the face to all Star Wars fans.
Especially anyone who liked episode 7.
Yeah.
And then episode 9 came out and was like, okay, let's like it tried its best. But it really did. It was ruined. Like it was like, how do we make both 7 and 8 make sense?
Yeah.
Because they don't.
What's funny to me is ever since episode 9 came out, like a lot of the Star Wars shows, like Mandalorian, has like a running subplot, or maybe the main plot of Mandalorian is like trying to fix some of the things that had to happen in episode 9. Because episode 9, the Emperor comes back, and you're like, how? Why? So all of Mandalorian is like this huge subplot. Mandalorian and another show called Bad Batch is like a huge subplot, is like the Emperor has been trying to clone himself for years. You just didn't know, so that's why he showed up in episode 9, and it was really jarring. But actually, this has been happening for decades. Like, you know.
Yeah. And it was like, yeah, because like you watch 7, and like there's all these like theories about, oh look, the bad guy, whatever his name was, is wearing a ring associated with the people that time travel in the Star Wars legends, and like, you know, all these theories. Like you went on YouTube at that time period.
I feel like we've talked about this on this channel before.
Probably, but like, and everyone, it's just, and then episode 8 comes out, and it's just like they literally systematically went through every fan theory and said it wasn't this. And it also just like ruined 7.
It did. Let's talk about your drawing for a second. First of all, I would frame this for my house. Like this is unsettling. I'm not, like, in one word, that face and that look is that watermelon man is quite unsettling.
Yeah. So by the way, Darth Vader gave him the Lego set as a Christmas gift.
Is he happy?
Yeah, look at that. Look at how happy he
looks
is.
like he's planning to hurt someone, like with the Lego set.
I mean, he is. Like he's Emperor Palpatine. He's planning to hurt somebody.
But like, it's so, you've captured something in the eyes that I don't think you've ever managed to do before. It's just like menace, like just pure evil in that face.
I got inspiration because I actually don't remember what Emperor Palpatine looks like.
Clearly,
but I do remember what the cat from Alice in Wonderland.
It does give me Cheshire Cat.
Like, I remember what he looked like. So I was like, Cheshire Cat, Emperor Palpatine, same character.
See, what I think you've also captured in the background there, is that's not Darth Vader. Like we all accept that. Like, I don't know who it is. I think it's more like Dark Helmet from Spaceballs. Spaceballs, if you don't know, was like a parody movie in the 80s that parodied Star Wars.
We don't recommend watching it.
Don't watch it.
It's better than both the holiday specials that we watched.
It's funnier. It's more inappropriate, but it's also funnier. The point is, that guy in the background is like, that is not Darth Vader's mask or anything else.
It's more like Juggernaut's mask.
Oh, yeah, it is. Like, here, this is what Dark Helmet looks like. And just take a look at like a Warhammer 40,000 character. Like this one, I'm pretty sure is just 100% what you made. It's just like this giant mech suit man,
right?
But also like a kid's pajama version of that. I'm proud of that drawing. I haven't thought for 2 seconds about what I'm going to draw.
That's about how long I thought.
Yeah.
About
the Lego Star Wars.
I just was like, oh, I have to draw Darth Vader again, right? And I started doing that.
What have you left me?
Not Darth Vader giving the Emperor Legos.
So that's a pretty good thing. Because that, like, And believe it or not, that happens. He doesn't give him Legos.
he gives
Well, I
him,
mean,
like,
he does,
coffee,
because they're all made of Legos.
Yeah.
But there's a part where Darth Vader gifts the Emperor a mug.
Mm-hmm.
It is a joke. The whole, it's like one big long.
It's like, it's painful because they're trying to like show the same events happening that happened in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
But like, while making sure to ruin the characters. Because it's like, oh, we need Darth Vader to still, throw the Emperor into the reactor core.
But they also make like a long running joke about how he's gonna do that.
Yeah, because it's like they're like time traveling.
Yeah.
So it's like the Emperor knows that Darth Vader's gonna do that, and then he's just like constantly trying to kill Darth Vader, and Darth Vader knows that, and Darth Vader's still like fighting for the Emperor, like the whole time.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like.
Then just like because he tripped or something, decided to throw the Emperor into the reactor core. Like it was just. That it was so. They're like, no, we need Darth Vader to fight as a bad guy, but also, like, Darth Vader would have betrayed the Emperor so long ago. In this,
yeah, he would have. That is a
like
certainty.
Darth Vader was not like so loyal to the Emperor that he would be attacked by the Emperor multiple times and still listen to the Emperor.
You know something I find funny? I find it funny. This is completely unrelated to this Christmas special. Well, I mean, not completely, but I think it's funny that Lego makes advent calendars every year.
Mm-hmm.
For people who don't really know what advent is and just want to open more presents,
right?
Because that's what most kids' advent calendars are.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I digress.
It's basically just a countdown to Christmas.
Yeah,
with a little gift
like
inside.
Getting what Christmas is about, kind of thing. But
well, I thought Christmas was about the gifts.
It's the gift of the presence of family, all wrapped up in each other.
That's not even what it's about.
No, it's not. But that's what Life Day is about, I think.
I don't know what Life Day is about. Like
they say what Life Day is
in this.
It's it's like the most generic holiday.
Yeah.
It's about family and caring and love and Star Wars. It's like
and food.
Food. It's like if you had to describe what a holiday was to someone. Yeah. Well, we get together with family and we celebrate, and there's food and there's love.
There's a party.
And that's Life Day.
Yeah. Like there was just like, what are Life Day traditions? Well, you gather together.
Yep. All right.
There's decorations involved. Real generic decorations.
I'm gonna draw.
Like, yeah. That's the thing about Life Day. Is and it was one of the problems with the original one too. It's like holidays have a reason that they exist. It's an annual celebration for something that happened.
Yeah,
but that's not true for Life Day.
Life Day is just like we decided we wanted to celebrate something, so we did.
But like
we're alive. We're alive, right?
We're not even celebrating something specific. It's
we're alive, so we're gonna celebrate.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like we saw that other people were celebrating something. We got jealous. I see you. You really wanted to draw a nose.
Yeah, well, you'd forgot. So
it wasn't.
You didn't draw a nose on anybody, man.
Yeah, nobody had a nose in my drawing.
I didn't do nose first, though, out of respect for Life Day.
What creepy old man is this?
Oh, you'll see.
Yeah, the heavy bags under and over his eyes.
Well, that's what happens when you're 900. This is Yoda. Because
why does he have that nose?
Well, Yoda has a nose.
I know he has a nose, but it's not like an elephant.
He has a lazy eye too.
It's not an elephant foot on his face.
I don't know how to draw Yoda. That ear's really far away from the body.
Don't worry, you can cover it with hair. All that hair.
Yoda doesn't have much hair, man. He has like a tuft of grandpa hair. It's not even a tuft. It's like a wisp. It's a wisp of grandpa hair.
Young old Yoda with hair.
But there's already so much I've done. Oh, I'm not trying to make him look angry. Dang it.
This could be that female of the Yoda species that was in the movies that one
Yaddle?
time. Yeah.
She has a name, man.
Well, but nobody knows it. It's never said in the movies.
There's like animated.
His hat?
He has there's a part in this holiday special where Yoda just straight up has a bowler hat on.
Yeah, he's dressed like the snowman.
He's like a Frosty the Yoda man.
No, but he's not dressed like Frosty. He's dressed like the snowman that's telling the story in
What's his cheek? It's just bigger.
He's like chewing some gum on that side. He's one of the jawbreakers from Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? I'm just gonna give him a...
Oh, he's smirking so hard. He's using the force to smirk extra.
I think you're right. His ears are also
like
really
stretching his
quite small.
Cheek.
Oh, it just doesn't look like Yoda.
No, it does not. It looks like a creepy elf with a bowler cap. Maybe Yoda is an elf.
That would explain some stuff. You know what I like about Lego people? Squares.
Oh, is this a Lego person?
Well, out of respect for Lego, I'm going to say no.
I think he's a leprechaun. What you're drawing right here is like a...
There's a fine line, man, between...
Like, he's wearing... Like, imagine this green. The hat's green, and he's green. It's a leprechaun.
But, like, there's a... Oh, gosh, his arms. There's a fine line between...
Oh, and he's doing the stud stance. He's gremlining.
That's not a stance.
Look up someone gremlining.
Don't Google anything of this. Oh, that stripe got it. That's like a string that's coming off the Lego sweater. What is a Lego? There it is. Lego feet are quite a special thing too, because it's basically that. I'd like to apologize to the Lego company.
And to all leprechauns.
No, I don't think they deserve my apologies.
But no, they have gold.
Oh, that's right.
One of them might
be a hotel owner.
Give us a hotel.
If we're real desperate that we're like reaching out to leprechauns. I didn't realize Lego people have like robot pincers for hands.
Mm-hmm.
All right, time for some hair. Lego people. The thing is, Lego things don't have hair.
No, they do not.
This one does.
Oh.
Some wisps.
So disturbing.
It is a bit disturbing, I will admit.
He looks more and more like a leprechaun.
I think the hair really. I think the hair actually pushed it over a little. But that's Yoda.
Like, look up a picture of a leprechaun, and you'll see this picture.
I mean, that's St. Patrick's Day as a holiday. You telling me they didn't just look at a green leprechaun and make Yoda? Like, he's very leprechaun-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially when you give him a bowler cap. And...
It's not my fault. They gave it to him in the thing. He looks extremely Irish in the holiday special. Like, he just does. It wasn't my doing. They literally just dressed him up here. Just look at this snowman from Rudolph. It's just his outfit.
Yeah,
right?
It was on purpose.
Yeah.
That's who they were copying.
Yeah.
Is the snowman from Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
Who's also in like the movie Elf.
Yeah, because he's just like a generic.
Yeah, he's the storytelling snowman.
The point is, what do I draw over here for the rest of the holiday special?
I guess leprechauns usually have beards. That is the thing that yours is kind of missing.
So you're saying I should give it a beard?
Well, like, I don't know if it's like required.
Well, what is required?
Oh, I mean, I think what you drew is good enough.
Disturbing enough?
Yeah.
Thank you. I agree.
If you search leprechaun without a beard, you just get even more pictures of leprechauns with a beard.
Isn't that interesting? No, it's not. Let's see.
'Cause it's like, because I put the word beard in, it's like, oh, you mean you specifically want just leprechaun beards?
That is a weird thing to search. We've had to do some creepy Google searches today. Imagine, like, you know how you Google something and you get like weird stuff recommended to you later, and you're like, why? And then you remember, oh yeah, that Google search from a couple hours ago, like, oh, from last week. Like, you know, you get really weird Google searches based on the really weird stuff you Google.
Is this like a weirdly cut pizza?
This is not a pizza at all, due to that not being the official flavor of Life Day.
What is the official flavor of Life Day? If you take the Lego movie, it's Tip Yip.
Tip Yip.
Which is apparently a bird of some sort.
Tip Yip, and it's because they had to make up a bird. Because they couldn't have had like roast porg. Yeah. People joke about that, but
right. But
porg is like an actual, people like porgs for some reason.
Yeah, but like, why is it Tip Yip? Like, it could have been a normal sound.
I am absolutely convinced that they called it Tip Yip because it rhymes with chip dip. And that's like what you have at every party.
Right, except that it wasn't a dip. It was
it sounded funny.
But then, I mean, if the original holiday special...
When I hear Tip Yip, I think of French onion dip. And that makes me happy. Look at that. It's a Lego Christmas tree.
The original special as inspiration, then it's Bantha's Surprise.
See, Bantha's Surprise would be acceptable. Mm-hmm. It's better than Tip Yip. Other than Tip Yip is quite fun to say.
Yeah, Tip Yip is
Try it, everybody. Tip Yip.
But see, the problem is, it may have been fun to say originally, but half of the jokes of the movie that we just watched was one of the characters just saying Tip Yip over and over again. Like, there was no joke.
I didn't say it was a good joke. I just said it was a joke.
Yeah. But it was just him constantly saying
You have to understand that Lego Christmas Special is made for 3-year-olds, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is better. It's still more wholesome and better than the original.
Okay, it's more wholesome, but I can't say it's better.
There was some funny parts in it.
I think
Kylo Ren you and I both laughed at the Kylo Ren scene.
When they were making fun of
the shirtless Kylo Ren with his pants up past his belly button. Like, that was funny.
What was that, episode 8? Did that happen in?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the worst part of episode 8.
I think it must be episode 8 because it's like the worst part of Star Wars. So it must have been episode 8.
Whatever episode that was in, it was the worst part of Star Wars.
Because you just feel it had the feel of the original Christmas special. Because you're just like, I shouldn't be watching this. Like, why are we in Kylo Ren's dressing room?
The guy came in to like report to him, and it's just like, oh, yeah. And this made it even more awkward. Like, and that was the whole joke, was that it was even more awkward than the original.
Exactly right.
Kylo Ren shirtless with his pants that are like, the Lego piece had the pants continuing up, onto the body of the, like, which is real weird.
It was real weird, and that's kind of the whole point. It was a good joke. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that was by far the best part. But see, my problem is that the best part of the Lego Christmas special is the part that made you feel awkward watching it.
I mean, that's where Star Wars holiday specials excel.
Yeah. But if you were looking for that feeling, just the whole thing of the original.
Well, I think anybody who's tuning into this is looking for that feel. I think that's the whole point.
Yeah. Probably. If they're watching us. I mean, isn't this the type of thing that you're like watching, and like a family member walks in, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not watching two grown men poorly draw."
Yeah, like, that's true. Like, people's parents catch them watching us, they're like, "Oh, they need friends." I'm gonna give a shout out right now to someone who's watched every single. Like, he informed us. This person, macaron and cheese, is his his stage name. Not his stage name, not yet. You know, he's up there keyboarding, going by Macron and Keys.
Yeah, it's like completely different guy.
That's his stage name. Yeah. The point is, I'm so sorry for what we've done to you, because you have now informed us that you've watched every single Two Poor Artists episode fully,
like,
beginning
to end. Honestly say I've never done that.
No, neither. I haven't.
I mean, I
close.
don't watch like any episode, but it's like I'm here.
Like I was here for him,
but I wasn't even like I didn't like if an episode came out that like Isaac did without me, I didn't watch it. So like I have not seen as much Two Poor Artists as Macaron and Cheese has.
Yeah, but like that is true. He has seen more Two Poor Artists than you because you haven't seen every episode.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. It's like we should replace you with him. He's better than us.
Well, I mean that's obvious.
Well, yeah, obviously we're gonna have him on the channel at some point soon to celebrate and to make our apologies more formal. You know, there'll be a certificate of apology.
Also, we didn't mention this at the beginning, but to those of you who have been enjoying the beginning 10 minutes of our videos just the left ear.
See, there is a good reason for this. Like, people thought it was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, why when I'm listening with my earbuds in is the first, and it's different amounts, different videos, but it's generally like the first few or up to the first 10 minutes. It's just left ear only.
Mm-hmm.
Why? We'll tell you why. Next week.
Yes.
Next week we have a very special Christmas video. Don't laugh, it's true. Next week we're going to explain why for years we have purposely dedicated a portion of each video to the left ear only.
Mm-hmm.
People thought it was a mistake. We are changing it now because of multiple complaints in the comments.
Yeah. We don't have time to respond to every complaint. So we need to just fix it. Like, it's taking up too much of our time.
Because up until this point in our careers, we have responded to every comment ever put on the Two Poor Artists YouTube channel. Which is impressive. Ask any other YouTuber if they've done that for 3 years.
Yeah.
They'll say, no, of course not, because I had so many subscribers and comments by that point I couldn't possibly. Unlike us. But there has been a good reason. We've had principles involved in this. We're giving up those principles now.
Right.
I know it's not shocking to anybody because, like, you've seen us. But the point is, we'll explain next week why we've always had a special place in our hearts for the left ear.
So look forward to that.
Yeah, that's real special. I will point out yet again that
is that also a window?
What does a Lego hand look like from the side?
A claw still.
Or like
which side?
Like it's the side that doesn't look like a claw.
Then it would just be like basically a circle.
Like that?
Yeah, like that.
Sure.
I mean, it might be a little bit more rounded, but I think that's fine.
I stand by what I said last week, that if you don't have a lightsaber, and it could be a little lightsaber, that's okay.
That's not a lightsaber.
This is the same kind of
light knife.
This is the same kind of lightsaber I drew in last week's video. If you don't have a lightsaber, it's not Star Wars.
I don't think mine technically did.
Oh, hang on. I gotta add this to the...
I mean, like, Darth Vader clearly had a lightsaber. Does Emperor Palpatine use a lightsaber?
Yeah, he does in episode 3.
Right, yes, in episode 3.
Yeah,
but 4, 5,
what
and
happens
6?
to his lightsaber, you know?
Yeah, like, does he just get rid of it?
There's like some deep Star Wars lore. There's like a book written somewhere.
Yeah, like, who's using his lightsaber?
I think he just has it tucked in the folds of his robe.
He just always uses the Force instead?
I mean, when you can do Force lightning, what's the point of a lightsaber?
Because the lightsaber can block Force lightning.
Yeah, but no one else can use Force lightning. He's got, like, dibs on that.
So it's like, it's his signature move.
Think about it. He uses it on, like, Vader and Luke, and all they can do is sit and, like, cry about it. They didn't even introduce blocking Force lightning with the lightsaber until episode 3. Or no, episode 2, I think. Episode 2, where he fights Count Dooku.
Right, but Anakin blocks it. And that's like practically what defeats him.
He knows, he should know about it.
Like in 4, 5, and 6, he should just be like, you know what? That time I fought Anakin, he was blocking my lightning with his lightsaber real easily. So I should stop using my lightsaber altogether and use only Force lightning.
You think I bet Palpatine just didn't teach it to him. He knew it was too powerful.
Force lightning, but he taught it to Count Dooku.
Count Dooku's like a rogue. You know, he didn't listen.
He learned it himself.
Learned it himself. Mm-hmm.
I think Darth Vader doesn't use it because it would short circuit his armor or body or whatever.
There's a good chance that would happen. I'll admit.
Also, Darth Vader can force choke people across the galaxy. So does he really need to force lightning people? Like, that has like a 5-foot range.
I'm giving Yoda some force lightning.
Yoda definitely does not use force lightning.
Yeah, but he like blocks it and shoots it back.
He does use force lightning strike from the sky.
Yeah, that does. See, that's basically the same thing.
That was episode 8, right?
That was episode 9.
Oh, that was episode 9.
Well, no, that was episode 8. That was the cool part of episode.
Well, but was it cool or was it giving Yoda a force lightning powers? Weirdly, like, oh yeah, only
cool. It was cool.
Sith can do this.
It was cool, Benj.
And Yoda as a force ghost.
Yeah, it was cool. Just like books. Books were cool in episode 8. Episode 8. This is the weird thing about Star Wars. Episode 8 introduced the first books ever seen in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like paper books.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. They were in the Star Wars special.
The Star Wars Holiday Special Lego version made it clear that Rey was the only one that could read.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Isn't that sad? Sure, they have all the lightsabers in the world, but they're illiterate. Mm-hmm. They can't even read the instruction manual.
Because everything's videos there.
Yeah.
And holograms.
It's a great future we have to look forward to. We'll have laser swords and evil emperors, but we'll all be illiterate.
Yeah.
Hooray.
And when everything's read to you, like they no longer store the data in words because they did it in video clips instead.
That's
like
deep.
That's the entire Star Wars.
That's pretty deep, Benj. That's pretty deep.
It wasn't. It's just how Star Wars is.
If you could have anything from the Star Wars universe other than a lightsaber in our universe, because lightsaber is the obvious answer, everyone would want a lightsaber.
I don't know if I would pick lightsaber.
Well, then this will be an easier question for you. My answer was lightsaber, but I'm going to have to pick my second answer. Mm-hmm. What would you have?
The light speed travel thing.
Oh, okay, so just like traveling. But how impractical is that on Earth?
I think it's way. I wouldn't use it on Earth.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't want to go anywhere else, man. Other planets are dusty and gross.
But like, you could still use it. Like, if you used it to get, because like in Star Wars, all the time they're like, oh, especially like the holiday special, they're like, oh, I have to park on the other side of the planet and walk. Like,
yeah, that was last week's Christmas special.
But like in this one, it's like, oh, she had to find the temple on this planet. It was real hard to find. She found it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so I'm just saying, like,
I think
Star Wars world.
I think Star Wars really doesn't acknowledge how big planets are.
Yeah,
they're like, it's somewhere on this planet. Like, how many years would you have to search if you don't know where it is on this planet?
I think it's just because they actually can light speed travel on planet. We just don't really ever see it. But they're just like, oh, I just got to explore this whole planet real quick. Let me just zoom on around.
I don't think that happens. I think it's the Force. The Force guides them to the. You know how ridiculous that would be though. Like in our planet, if we're like, we know somewhere there's like a coffee shop on this planet. We don't know it. No one's heard of it.
Yeah.
For thousands of years.
No one lives on the planet.
It's buried. But we need to find it today.
Yeah, it has to be today.
And the first place they look every time is always the first place. Yeah. There's never any like long search party scenes in Star Wars. No. You know,
it's not like Lord of the Rings where it's like we need to get from here to there, and it's going to take the whole movie.
Yeah, and you're okay with that because it's Lord of the Rings and it's awesome.
Yeah, and they're walking, and it's reasonable.
Mm-hmm. This is like something else, some weird future navigation thing that we just can't quite wrap our heads around.
Mm-hmm. Lightspeed engine. That's my answer.
I have a new question after this. Anyway, what did you title your video?
Lego Star Wars Holiday Special.
I'll be here for another 40 minutes. I would take, let's see. This is a hard question that I asked and then never thought about the answer to. Let's see. Lego. That was an awkward pause. This is what people don't want from us. Now they had to look at the art. You know, imagine if we didn't talk. They'd just be stuck with the art that we put out there. I would take. Let's see. What else do they have? Oh, that's nice. Good job. Proud of you. I feel like I should text my mom. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to text my mom right now to prove that I love my mom.
Okay.
What should I say? I'm going to say.
You should tell her what you would want from Star Wars.
I'm gonna talk to text her and I'm going to say, "I love you, Mom." Let's see how she responds. If my mom is by her phone, she'll respond in about 3.5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
If not, she won't respond for 2.5 days.
Right. Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how moms work. Yeah. But I would take the ability to wear one outfit forever and have no one question it.
It's not an item.
But it's like, I would take that social construct from the Star Wars. You just find one real good outfit, you know? And you can change it, like, if you have a major life change, like, we destroyed the Death Star. Thankfully, I could buy a new pair of pants, like, you know. Right. But you just have, like, like Han Solo wears the same thing for 50 years. Mm-hmm. And he, like, that's just accepted.
Right. But also, do the same people see Han Solo very often?
I mean, like, you know what I mean? Blade and Luke do.
Because he just, like, goes from planet to planet because he has light speed travel.
This isn't just a Star Wars thing. This is, like, most movies thing.
And also, like, how does time work? Because, like, if it was the real world, there would be, like, some amount of, you know, time delay and stuff when they go from light speed traveling from planet to planet. Uh-huh. So it's like, of all you know, it's like he'll go somewhere, he'll come back, and it'll be like 10 years later.
Yeah, it's
and it's like
they don't really acknowledge that. It's not like
maybe he's saying the same thing as he was 10 years ago.
I think George Lucas was smart in not doing the whole Interstellar, like Christopher Nolan was like, we need to make time travel real. So like they light speed travel, and now their kids have grown up and they're a terrible parent, and it's like that wouldn't be fun in Star Wars.
In Star Wars, it's just like the same time on every planet.
Yeah, they calculate for that.
Like you can have a clock, and it will work the same no matter where you are in the universe.
Different laws of the universe in that universe.
Mm-hmm. Like you can say, "I'll meet you at 5 o'clock on this planet," and like everyone knows what that means.
Yeah, no, totally true. My real answer though is I would just take droids. Other than my mom, I just want to point this out. My mom texted me back, "Are you dying?" That was my mom's response to "I love you, Mom." And now she's calling. So hang on, I need to take this call.
I think you
or else she's gonna call back.
Your mom, you love her.
she's gonna call back.
I think you trying to prove you love your mom backfired horribly on you.
Hello, Mom. Because we're recording for Two Poor Artists, and Benj texted his mom, so I was texting my mom. Now it makes it seem like I never text you this, which, to be fair, I don't think I ever have. But people can do it. Good kids probably do it. They text their mom, just, no special reason, just thought you should know. Your suspicion. Not being held at gunpoint. There's no threat to my life. Everything's good. Voice wink. Everything's good. You'll hear about this when the video comes out. So enjoy this segment. Thanks for guest starring. Goodbye, and I love you, Mom. Wink. Don't call 911. We're good. All's good. Star Wars Christmas Holiday Special Part 2 today. You're gonna love it. All right, bye. Sorry about that, everyone. That's my mom.
Yeah, I feel like your whole point backfired tremendously.
You think we can just cut that part out? And
like if you were trying to prove to our fans that you love your mom,
I'm gonna make it worse. I think I'm gonna make it worse real quick. I actually do love my mom. Like we talked, like I chose to move not that far away from my parents because of love, and not because they have a lot of tools that I like to borrow. Yeah. See, now it sounds like that's the only reason. I have a good relationship with my parents. My mother has been on the channel. You could hear it in her voice. There was no promise of pay or, that was actually my mom, not an actress.
Sure it was.
See how I'm saying all these things and everyone at home's like, oh, he really hates his mom. I don't speak. But he texted her for some reason for a joke, and it's not funny.
Yep. Horribly backfired.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I will say, they had Chewbacca's family in this again, just like the original Star Wars Holiday Special, but they didn't have the same family.
Yeah, it was a completely different family.
It was just like generic. We don't even know who they were. It definitely wasn't his wife.
Yeah, there's also like a lady that was in episode 8 only.
She was in episode
She's
7.
probably in other episodes, but
and 9.
Who like called Chewbacca her boyfriend?
Yeah, that's why they couldn't have Chewbacca's wife in there, because it would have been like, awkward for Chewbacca.
Yeah, but they had like his son.
Well, was it his son though? It was just like
It was
generic
a smaller
Wookiee. I'm quite certain that the credits were like generic Wookiee 1, 2,
also,
and 3.
like, why was he smaller? Because if this happened after Rey, this would have been
Wookiees age notoriously slow.
yeah. They don't just like live long. They like are kids for a really long time.
Yeah, it's like you have to be in your 50s before you suddenly mature. It's quite dramatic and overnight. And
I think the kid would be in his 50s.
I know, it's what I'm... Any day now. Any day now, he's going to get his height and his, his beard, his facial hair. That's the thing. They're born with facial hair. How do you know when a Wookiee's reached maturity? The voice, does it crack? Like,
it's at least be full grown.
It's like, it was a higher pitched growl. But also not at all. I will say they didn't have his gross father.
They had someone who was the same color.
But it wasn't his gross father. Lip was in the right place, and he wasn't watching naughty things. I like my drawing. I would buy this Lego set.
What is the Lego set?
I think it's 2 pieces, or 3 pieces. It's like a minifigure, one of those little Christmas tree things, and an arm with a lightsaber.
Just the arm.
It's like Luke's arm from episode 5.
The one that was chopped off with that lightsaber.
Lightsaber mid-ignition. Because it has and there's like a window.
Like a poster, like one of those stickers.
Yeah. Don't you love those stickers in Lego sets? They always make me paranoid.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, now I have to try real hard.
I have to try real hard to line up the sticker, and if I get it wrong, it's ruined forever.
Yeah, because you cannot take it off.
No, you can't. Yeah, it's just they want to add some stress to children's lives. That's what the Lego company does there.
Yeah. I like that the new ones are usually printed on.
They are. I just built the new Legend of Zelda one, and there was 0 stickers. I think you also have to pay like a small fortune to get. They're like, oh, you want it printed on the plastic, not on a plastic sticker, huh? Well, how many thousands of dollars do you have? And then you're like, please, I'm but a poor artist. Please, sir, I just want my Lego set for Christmas. That's my orphan voice.
Oh.
Please, sir, I want some more Legos. They're like, no, call your mother. You're like, I don't have one, sir. I'm a poor orphan. Well, we've done 2 weeks of the Star Wars holiday specials now.
Yep.
I just like
two of the worst things I've watched in a while.
Yep.
I mean,
thanks, Charles, for the comment so that we could, do this again. This one, I will say, if you have to watch one with your kids, this is the only one that you should be watching with your children.
Yeah, for sure.
You shouldn't watch either. Really?
Yeah.
Like this is a fun joke.
Else.
This is a fun joke on Star Wars. Watch the Kylo Ren scene. Just watch that one scene. It'll be a good joke. Because,
everything else, like even like the way that scene ended was just real dumb.
Yeah, but it's very on brand for those, made for TV style Lego movies. And I will say it is infinitely better than the regular one. The other one made me hurt uncomfortably in many ways.
Yeah,
this one was kind of dumb and like insulting to Star Wars, but it was funnier because it had at least a funny part or two.
Yeah, it had the one funny part.
One funny part. Next week, we will not be drawing Star Wars Holiday Special unless they suddenly release a third one, and then I feel like we'll have to... Like, Star Wars does things in trilogies. Like, they have to do a third one at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
But Maybe they'll like do it with maybe Harrison Ford will come back for the next one. You know, I'll drag poor old 100-year-old Harrison Ford out.
If that happens to like come out this week,
then we will do a third part.
Yeah, I mean it is real weird that like we did our video, and then 2 days later they put
in the new Star Wars show Skeleton Crew, not Skeleton Key. They actually they made the Star Wars holiday special canon by putting a little clip of it in the actual show.
Mm-hmm. And so then everyone was, looking up Star Wars holiday special.
That's the one time in our careers we were ahead of the game. We drew something that would then become relevant 2 days later.
Because like we were drawing something that was real old that everyone hated and barely anybody knew about.
Yeah, and then suddenly it
got popular.
That was our one chance to go viral, and did it happen?
No, of course not.
No, it did not.
Because that would involve people watching us.
And caring.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, Mom.
And do you?
I do. Tune in next week when we tell you about why we love the left ear.
Yes.
Until then, may your life day be as grand as
the great tree of life on the Wookiee home planet.
It's a rough end of the video. See you next time.
Bye.
As always, we're surprised you made it this far into our video.
There's no way we could possibly ask you to subscribe to this atrocity, so we won't.
We would say share it with your friends, but it's probably better for wasting your enemy's time.
We're probably not going to get any better, but we will keep drawing.
See you next time.